Welcome to the Boating Business Success Podcast, where we talk about expert insights, we talk about successful stories, industry stories, and we just talk about strategies and takeaways to make a positive impact on the boating industry. I am today humbled and honored to have Jeremy Anderson, who has been the general manager of Big Thunder Marine since 2016, and they are a top 100 dealer from the Lake of the Ozarks. So I'm really excited to learn your story, Jeremy, and what you have to share about the ups and downs of Big Thunder Marine. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jose. I'm honored to be here as well. It'll be fun to tell the story. It's been 8 fun years. In fact, it was just February was my 8-year anniversary at Big Thunder Marine, and so we'll we'll see how this takes us and tell the story over the
Yes,
last 8 years of everything we've done and everything we've gone through. So for sure, looking forward to it.
man, I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, so let's see. Let's start with, let's just give an overview of Big Thunder Marine. So when did it start? Years in business, the size of your team right now, the brands that you carry, the locations that you have, just anything that you're proud about the company.
So Big Thunder Marine was originally started by Bob and Sue Morgan back in the 1990s, and they focused on power boats and had a race team. And unfortunately, Bob Morgan passed away in 2011, which basically
Mm.
shuttered the dealership. And in 2015, Fred Ross and his two kids, Chris and Andrea, basically bought the original Big Thunder Marine Marina and reopened the dealership. And in fall of 2015, bought out a small company called Tri-Toon Town that was an up and coming small. As Tri-Toons were just getting popular, they were doing a great job at Lake of the Ozarks, and brought me
Mm.
in early 2016 to help really put together the business and grow it. So when I got here, there was basically 10 people and not really any systems. They were using QuickBooks. They didn't, they didn't have any systems in place to do service work orders or know how to sell boats correctly. And really, we
Mm.
started in May of 2016 with an acquisition of Glen Cove Marina, and really we've grown from there. So we've done a lot of acquisitions. We've grown organically, and we've really put together what we think is a really great team. So today we
Mm.
are over 100 full-time employees. We're a top 100 dealer. We're an MRA, a certified dealer. All of that means we try to do a great job for our customers and our clients and give them the overall best experience. And we've put
Yeah.
together the team that we think that can do it. So, the brands we carry, proud that we have some of the best brands in the industry, and we've really set our dealership up to be more of a high-end, high experience, high touch dealership. So we have brands like Mastercraft, Chris Craft, Fountain, Monterey. We're proud to pick up Jeanneau and Prestige more recently in these kind of European Group Beneteau boats. Um, we also have Manitou and Crest and JC Tri-Tunes, and we're really the largest Tri-Tune dealer at Lake of the Ozarks. So we'll sell over 150 Tri-Tunes, and we don't sell two-tune 50 horse. Everything we have is a triple tune, 150 minimum, and even now most of them are 200 horsepower and up. We sell a lot of twin engine Tri-Tunes. Um, we sell, we still sell a lot of brokerage and consignment power boats. We've got a great guy, Ed, who
Mm.
really knows that market and really has still lived it. And we now have multiple locations at the lake. We have Ozark Yacht Club Marina, Glen Cove Marina, Yacht Haven Marina. So we've got those three that we rent slips, and we have two gas docks, two sets of rental boats. We have multiple service locations. We're in the process of right now building a $1 million plus custom paint shop where we'll be able to paint custom boats. We just brought on a great guy that knows how to do interiors and covers, and we're really proud to kind of work on being what we can for everyone and having the opportunity to sell them whatever they need on their dock. One of the
Mm.
biggest things that has helped us over the years has been our Wake Effects Pro Shop, because it brings people in even when they're not looking for boats. And so they've come in and they are looking for a life jacket or a paddleboard, or now we have flight boards. And it's amazing how fast those are taking off. The e-foils are just coming on strong here at the lake. and
Right.
elsewhere in the country, but for sure at the lake, it's fun to watch a family come in and they'll buy one and then they'll use it for the weekend. And then they have to come back and buy another one because they want it. And then someone else in their cove saw one. So now they have one. And then they had to come back and buy another one. So we have a couple coves that have 6 to 8 flight boards in it, just over trying to just having them seen in the marketplace. Um,
Hmm.
the team we've put together has been really, I'm really proud of the team we've put together. We have people that we do our own in-house financing, we do in-house Coast Guard documentation, everyone from our controller to our marketing director to our marina operations manager, sales director, service director. We really work as a team. And look, as a team this size, not everyone's going to get along, but we're all going in the same direction. We all understand that the customer experience is overall the most important. So we work a lot of things out in
Hmm.
between our dealer our departments, and really proud of the team we put together, and how they work together to help grow our dealership, and understanding what the ultimate goal really is, which is giving the best customer experience we possibly can.
Hmm. Man, that's so cool. So cool. What are the, you mentioned many locations, right? So what was
Yep.
the number again? And what are the different types of locations? Because you have
Well,
the
so
stores.
yeah, so at Lake of the Ozarks, we have two big showrooms. We have our speed and luxury showroom, which is where we have all of our faster center consoles like Fountain and Donzi. We have all of our
Hmm.
larger boats such as Monterey and Jeanneau and Prestige yachts. And then we have our family boating center, which is another showroom. That's an old Staples building we bought and converted into a showroom. So we have 22,000 square feet and really nice parking lot, really well finished off. So family boating center is where we keep all of our Mastercrafts, all of our Tri-Tunes, some of our smaller,
Hmm.
Nautic Stars, and some of our smaller Jeanneaus. And really, that's where our Wake Effects Pro Shop is. And so when you walk in, you get the guys who really love the product and live the lifestyle and know what they're talking about. So when you come in there, you're getting this totally different vibe walking into the family boating center than you do at the Speed and Luxury showroom. At the Speed and
Hmm.
Luxury showroom, we have a Donzi Classic hanging from the ceiling behind the reception desk when you walk in, and it's so cool.
That's
I love that.
incredible.
Look, that was sort of the cool thing when we were building that showroom. Figured out how to hang a boat from the ceiling, and then when you walk in the family boating center, you see screens of surfing and wakeboarding and flight boards and boats going around, and
That's
we
amazing.
we've really done a cool job. Yeah, totally different feeling from both of them, and it's fun to see how people react when they go into both of them, and the views and how they are, and just gives a little bit different experience for each one,
Hmm.
focused on the type of boats we sell. So we have
That's
our
amazing.
Glen Cove. Our first acquisition was our Glen Cove Marina, and we have multiple slips we rent. We have a gas dock. We have rental boats, two massive service facilities, and that's also where we're building a new paint shop. Is all on that same property. We have Ozark Yacht Club, which is another big marina facility. It has a cafe that's reopening this spring. We do a lot of ground storage as well. We have some rental houses on that property. We also do some service out of there, and we're turning an office space into kind of basically a yacht showroom. So we've imported some boats from Europe, and we're really turning it into kind of a design center. So excited on what we keep growing and doing next. Then we also have our Yacht Haven location, which is another marina where we rent slips and we have service, and we do a lot of bottom paint and this clear bottom paint and ceramic coating and all the other parts to a boat that go on that aren't necessarily mechanical service. And then we
Hmm.
have our latest acquisition, which just happened last fall, which was we call it Horseshoe Bend. It was a Voyage Marine location, and excited about that one. It's in the back of a calm cove. It's a great newer shop, and gives us a lot of room to grow and expand as we continue to bring in more brands and more boats.
Hmm.
That's at the lake. We also have a couple locations down in Florida. So we have a location in Key Largo, Florida, and in Palm Beach Gardens as well. So a lot of fun, a lot of expansion, and a lot of growth. So that gets us, like I said, over 100 employees, multiple locations, and sort of the Lake of the Ozarks is our hub. It's our office. It's where our controller is and our marketing director and more of our key staff are located. And then off from there, we can branch out and use satellite locations with sort of the bigger support system behind it.
Hmm. Man, that's such an operation. Like you have
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on there, under your supervision, right?
Yep.
Um, what are the locations in Florida? Are those showrooms also, or how does that work?
Nope, they're just outside outside sales and store and service facilities. So we just do
Mhm.
sales. There's no showrooms there, especially in the Keys. You can't really build a showroom right now. They don't really let you build anything. And
Mhm.
Palm Beach Gardens, we're in PGA Marina, so it's a Port 32 location. So we just rent both of those.
Oh, okay.
But excited to be able to have boats down in Florida, and we have a lot of customers from the lake that also winter in Florida. So be able to
Got
give support down there.
got it. So it's if I want to buy a boat in Florida and I want to do it with Big Thunder Marine, is that like I would go to the salespeople there and just get
Yep,
assistance?
absolutely. Yep, yep.
Okay, got it. Awesome. And so there's basically the showroom and the service locations, and then there's the marinas, right?
Yeah, Lake of the Ozarks, it's kind of unique. Everybody has their showrooms up sort of on the main drag or main street or whatever you want to call it. So there's a
Mhm.
busy street that runs through town that's not up near the water that everyone has showrooms at. And then our service facilities are in our marinas. And we're not unique in that. We just believe we have more locations and we do a better job than everybody else. But that's kind of the norm here at Lake of the Ozarks is to have
Interesting.
showrooms away from your service because the service is always done on the water. No one buys a trailer. Everyone keeps their boat on their lift year round. The lake doesn't really freeze, so we winterize boats on people's
Mhm.
docks, and we really we need the on water facilities to be able to have mobile technicians. You know, on any given day in the summer, we'll have 4 to 6 boats on the water, servicing people's boats on their lifts, taking care of things, delivering boats, going to get them and bring them into the shop. We really try to be a kind of a full service marina. So if you need service on your boat, we'll go get it off your dock, we'll bring it in, we'll do the service, and we'll take it back.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, what is the experience right on the showroom? If I want to buy a boat and I want to see different models, how does that look like with Big Thunder Marine when I get to that dealership?
Well, no matter what showroom you get in, you're going to get you're going to be greeted by somebody who's really friendly. And our showrooms are set up more to offer what like a luxury car dealership does. You know, we've got bottles of water in a fridge that have our logo on
Mm.
them. We've got Nespresso and Keurig machines, and trying to offer you help and assistance. Once you figure out the type of boat you're looking for, we're putting you with a specialist. So one of the things that we've been able to do and really grow our business is that we believe that you should buy from people who love that product. And so look, Big Thunder's success is
Mm.
really because we're all boaters. We try hard because we all do this. We all live this lifestyle. I do. Most of the people that live there do. So if you want to buy a Mastercraft, you're buying it from one of the guys who surfs and wakeboards and knows and lives that lifestyle. And if you want to buy a boat that goes 150 miles an hour, you're buying it from a guy who knows how to drive a boat 150 miles an hour. And
Mm.
we really have people who really care and love and are passionate about their product. We offer a lot of brands, and there's no way any one salesperson could understand and know the specifics and pricing and models of every brand. So we have specialists, and those specialists work together. So if you bought a Mastercraft from one of our guys 3 years ago, and today you want a center console, the Mastercraft salesperson you'll go to will bring you in and talk to one of the center console guys, and they'll work it
Mm.
together. They'll help you together. And so we don't want to. Everyone understands that taking care of the client is much more important than just selling some boat. We want you to love what you're buying, and so we don't want to be wrong. We won't sell you a boat if we don't think it's right. And once you find a boat that you're looking for, we're going to take you on the water. I mean, we don't just we have almost 100% demo or at least a delivery drive before you pay for the boat. We don't want you to buy a boat that you don't love. We want you to fall in love with it, hopefully in the showroom, hopefully on the demo,
Mm.
hopefully again on the delivery, and for
Yeah.
years down the road. So it doesn't do us any good to have somebody in a boat they don't like. So for us, we really try to have specialists. You're going to talk to the right person. You're going to talk to someone who knows and loves the product and uses it themselves. They know how to drive whatever you're using. They know how to you operate all the systems. They know how to talk the talk and walk the walk for whatever you're going to do behind the wheel. Um,
Mm.
Past that, look, we try to be aggressive on our pricing. We're never the cheapest person in town. That's not what we do. We believe we bring a lot of value. We believe we take great care of you.
Yeah.
And we offer a lot. We don't give you a half a tank of gas and say, here's the boat, go ahead. We fill it with fuel. We fully detail it. We're going to give you life jackets and a throwable and dock lines and fenders that make it so that day one you can go boating. You can leave our
Hmm.
marina without having to get anything else and go have lunch on the water with your family if that's what you choose to do after you take delivery. So we believe in an elevated experience all around, and we do it with fair prices. We give great discounts because of how
That's
big we
amazing.
are. Yeah, look, because of how big we are, we're able to get some volume discounts, and we pass those along. We want to be competitive in our pricing. We're not but we also understand that you're going to want to trade it hopefully to us in 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 years, and we don't want you to overpay today because we can't trade you out of it in 5 years.
Hmm. Yeah, man, that's really cool. And how does, after I buy the boat, how does that look like? The service, like, do I get to keep my boat? Because I know the struggle, right? Like keeping
Yeah.
the boat working and like all this service that has to be done. How do you help customers with that issue?
Well, all through the process, we try to talk you through what it takes to own the boat you're looking at. And if you're looking at some high-powered 1100 horsepower Mercury Racing QC4, you have to do a lot more service work than just an outboard engine, which is why outboards are becoming a lot more popular in that world. During the sales
Mm.
process, we take care of all of your finance, Coast Guard documentation. We'll go to the license office for you. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to just go boating. After the sale, we really want you to bring your boat to us for its first service. And at Lake of the Ozarks, we include that first service free. So with the purchase of the boat, we're taking care of what we call the 20-hour check, or sometimes it's a 50-hour check. Bring it to us. We give it its first oil change, go through everything. Look, no boat is perfect, and anyone who tells you it is wrong. So we we want you to make little adjustments. We might need something to fix a little bit that's out of alignment, something that you've used that you have questions on. And so that 20-hour check is really great for you to bring it back to us and and go through and maybe we need to re-explain something for you. We have a service staff of service writers that all sit together for Lake of the Ozarks, and they all can help you no matter if your normal service writer that you get is off that day. The way we set it up is sort of a central scheduling. So everyone knows every tech schedule, they know every service writer schedule. So when you need to get it in, we can all look at the schedule and all fit you in where it's needed. Look, we appreciate as much heads up as needed, but we understand that things break. And the way we work, especially, is that if you bought a boat from us, look, we're going to jump and we're going to take care of that boat. I can't tell you how many people I've put in rental boats or done something because they've been down for the weekend and they've maybe hit something with their boat or something's gone wrong with it and we couldn't quite get it done in time. We'll give them a rental boat. We'll give them something to use. I mean, we do things that other dealers just don't even think of.
Yeah.
We want you on the water. We understand how important it is. We have clients that sometimes only come down 4 or 6 times a year to use their boat, and if they can't use it once, I mean that's 25% of the time. If they only use it 4 times, they can't use it.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
crushing. These families spend all this money. They spend more money than their cars, and they use it 4 times a year. And we really want to make sure they're on the water. So we as a dealership understand that and how important it is. And that's how we've built our service, is to take care of those people who buy boats from us and have trusted us with their purchase and their investment. And we're giving it back in the service we provide.
That's great. That's it's a such an experience to buy the boat and then the delivery and learning the boat and how it works, and then you also have your clients back, with all the struggle of
Always.
keeping it working and getting it out on the water in the best way possible. So that's amazing. I love it. And then next question I want to ask ties into to that experience a lot. What you mentioned of having like specialized team members that help each other, and it's like a huge machine team that works together to make all this experience happen. How do you build that? How do you build that team? Like, how do you find those people? How do you keep them motivated, aligned, and with the standards of the company?
Well, That's always the hard part. It's been the hardest part about growing this company from, at 10 people or 12 people to over 100. We've been fortunate enough to be a great place to work, and so we get a lot of internal referrals. My service director
Mhm.
came to me from Ohio, and he was referred by somebody else I knew in the business who knew me from back in Wisconsin, where I came from. And she was a competitor of ours, but knew who we were and how we operated, or how I operated, and called me and said, "Hey, I think I've got a guy for you." And so when your competitors, when your previous competitors are giving you employees, you've got
Mm.
to be doing something right. So that's been one of the most flattering things that's happened. But I'll tell
That's
you,
amazing.
we've done a couple things. Look, as we've grown, we have some people that have grown with the company, and it's been so great to see. Our business manager, Barb, she has really grown. I mean, she's been with a version of Glencoe for over 20 years, and she started on a gas dock as a teenager. And
Mm.
now she runs our entire finance and business office for all of our boat deals and everything. And she's someone who grew with the business. As we grew, she took on more responsibility. Now she has employees under her, and she's done things that have elevated her and her status. And at the same time, we've had people that the company has just frankly outgrown, and some of them we've had to let go, but most of them we found other places for them to work. And so there's all these sayings about finding the right seat on the bus for people. I have a service manager that when we bought Glen Cove Marina was the service manager at that location, and he did a great job. But eventually the business grew past what his ability was, and he moved and pivoted to another partner in our company, and now he's thriving in what he loves to do more so than he probably was as a service manager. He's happier every day than he was. And so, because of who we are and the team we've put together, and look, we're involved in the community, everyone knows what we do for our employees. We offer rental boats for free. You can take a boat with your family for no cost except for fuel any day in the week, basically other than Saturday, because they're usually all out on a Saturday. But these technicians have Tuesdays off in the summer, and they'll come down with their family and other families, and they'll take a boat out, and it's fun for them. And we have multiple events throughout the year. We have an employee family day that's usually in early August, where we go to Ozark Yacht Club Marina. We put flight boards in the water, we put boats in the water, we put mastercrafts in the water, and we have every one of our we close for the day, and all of our employees bring all their families down, and all of their families get to enjoy all of the water sports and all of the fun we have. So we've taken people 100 miles an hour in a fountain cat that have never been 100 before. We've taught kids how to surf. We've got people that come and do flight boards lessons for our employees. We do multiple things with lunches and fun days, and just employee appreciation. I mean, it's all the little things. Even when we get good surveys back and they come to me, I send them to the employees and say, "Great job." And sometimes, look, the family days of fun and food and fun on the water are great, but we really just have this culture of appreciation of our employees, and telling them when they're doing a great job, and holding them accountable when they're not. And I think people appreciate that. We've gotten rid of some people that most dealers would be afraid to get rid of, because it's the star technician or a great salesperson. But frankly, if they're causing more trouble for our overall team and our environment and our culture, we get rid of them. I mean, they don't need to be there. We don't have time for that. I don't have time for a prima donna that thinks they can yell at a yard handler, right? I mean, we have guys who move boats
Yeah.
in and out, and if they yell at those guys, we don't have them here. So we've weeded through a lot of employees over the years, and we always have our employees' backs. We've fired customers when they've yelled at our employees or screamed at our receptionist on the phone because they couldn't get somebody. We really have all of our staff and our team members' backs. We appreciate what they do on a regular basis, and we really like to show them through fun and through things we offered them with. Look, if they want to buy clothes in our pro shop, they can buy them at barely over cost, and they can gear up their whole families, and we always have things available for them. We're always you know offering something for them, whether it's jackets or cups or backpacks. We really want them to feel part of our team. Look, some of that's just wearing the logo every day. And so it's taken a long time, and we've gone through a lot of employees, and we will continue to do that. But as we grow and add more people, it's more important for the culture and who we are as this winning team than always for the ability, because we can teach someone ability, but you can't teach someone how to be a good human and good to their teammates.
Yeah, yeah, that's the hard part, right? Like, how do you keep the standard, right?
Yeah.
Because you have great people, and you take the work and the time to make sure that you have great people on your team. And then how do you organize them? How does everybody know exactly what they need to do and up to the standard that they need to do it?
Well, there's two things. One, from a technician standpoint, we've really tried to we call it grow our own, right? There's in every boating market, there's always a group of technicians that'll move around to different dealerships, and they'll move for $2 an hour or $1 an hour. They get mad at someone and they move. And
Mm.
we really stopped taking those people because they were really just moving their problems around. So we we now have gone to the local technical schools. We've gone to Marine Mechanics Institute. We've gone to a lot of other places and brought people in, and we now have a mentorship program. So we have technicians coming in day one that we're helping pay for schooling, we're helping with tools, and we're putting them day one with an experienced technician that we believe shows our culture and our values and understands who we are as a company. So day one, they're learning from someone else what to do and what the right things are and how we operate. And look, we're continually improving. So when we get someone new that has a great idea, we're open and we're listening. And we've changed processes. Sometimes we wait and change them in the off season. Sometimes we'll change it tomorrow if it makes sense for tomorrow. So we're continuously improving. When someone starts, we have processes written out, we have job descriptions, we let them know their expectations, we let them know who their direct supervisors are, who their supervisors are, so that if there's a problem with the person above you, you can go to the next person. We really try to have sort of this director setup. Then we have managers that manage if we need to. And in a service department, we have multiple service managers because we have so many locations. So we have a service director that oversees all the managers. The managers oversee all their locations. And what that does is give us the ability to make changes on a local level because we have different needs, even between our own service departments at Lake of the Ozarks. Forget Florida and everywhere else we might be. We have it between our
Mhm.
own locations. The guys who work on bottom paint have different needs for lighting and tools than the guys who work on the engines and can do an engine swap and who rig outboards. Same thing with the sales departments. Our sales of guys, the guys who are on the water more often and doing more demos like surf events and surf Sundays and trying to get people behind the boats. Look, we take those boats out more often than we do $1 million center console. We're not just taking those out for a ride and showing people how to use them. So
Mm.
we really specialize and we focus on the needs of the individual person as well as the location, as well as the department. And we really listen to everyone along the way. And it happens. I try to walk through the shops. I wish I had more time to walk through the service shops more. But when I do, we try to talk to the people and ask them, how's it going? What do you need? What are you seeing? And sometimes, look, it doesn't matter what company you're in or who you are. Sometimes an outsider asking the question, they'll say something they might not say otherwise because every day they just get busy and they have this
Yeah,
big picture idea, and then we go back and we work through it. So it's over the years we've really built this culture of working hard for the customer, but also for each other and just really helping each other out.
and Jeremy, it's so it's impressive, a little overwhelming, like all the experience that you have. How you the team that you have, the organization that you have. Um, I just want to take a little break of the company part and get a little bit about your passion and how you got into boating, and how has that been, being passionate about boating and being able to work on the boating industry.
For me, it's my ultimate dream is to work in the boating industry. Doing what I've been fortunate enough to do here at Lake of the Ozarks is not the first time that I've built businesses like this for the boat side. I started Well, like, I started as a kid, like anyone else, right? I went fishing with my dad and my great uncle and my uncles, and enjoyed being on the water. And then we bought a boat, and we went on vacation, and I learned how to water ski, and I learned how to kneeboard back in the day, and thought I was really good and cool, and thought that was fun. And I became a show skier in the 90s, and had a lot of fun. Learned how to barefoot, learned how to jump, learned how to do doubles and pyramids and all the things you see from SeaWorld. And I never did anything like that. I was on an amateur team, but we were pretty good. And just always loved being around boats. And, we would, from being on the show ski team, we would go to our sponsor dealer at the time was Munson Ski in Illinois. And I
Mm.
ended up loving every time we went there, and just sort of became a student of the business and started learning things on my own. And when I went there, we just kind of hung out for the day. And basically, they offered me the job of pro shop manager, which I thought was pretty cool. So I get to talk about water skis, life jackets, ropes, handles, and learn, every day. That's not, and you'll pay me for it. Yeah,
And get
sign me
paid
up.
for
I'm
it.
there. Yeah, sign me up. Right. So super loved that job. Moved up quickly, ran a satellite location for them. Um, Met my now wife, and right as we were getting married, moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, worked for a dealership there, took what was a sort of fumbling along Mastercraft dealer, and they would order, 6, 8 boats a year. And in the first full year I was there, we did 28 boats. And we just did it through just doing all the right things. It's not, there's no secret sauce. There's no magic wand. There's no fairy dust in the boat business. You just have to put in the work every day, and you have to do all the right things for customers. And sometimes it means you're taking a phone call late at night. Sometimes it means you're running to someone's dock really early in the morning. We just built our business that way. We took boats to people. I was lucky enough to meet good people that allowed me to bring our mastercrafts at the time to private lakes, to ski tournaments, and use them. And then, you're selling boats to the guys, and they're doing it for you. And then they're your brand ambassadors out there. And so we really built it up same way. We built it up from almost nothing, and we built that business successfully. And I've just always enjoyed being in the boat business. And look, I got out of it a couple times. I worked in the high-end car business for a short time. I worked for Lehman Brothers before the crash in finance and in mortgage-backed
Cool.
securities, and
And
I,
I can imagine
yeah, I
interesting
mean, I
stories there.
yeah, I mean, there's lots of cool, lots of different things I've done. I thought I had this great on a path to be a vice president job, but in reality, the only thing I ever wanted to do was wear shorts all day and be around boats and talk to boats with people. And sometimes that's the problem with the size we're at today. I just was at a boat show last weekend and talked to some customers, and they're like, "Oh, thanks for spending so much time with us. We know you're busy." And I said, "Yeah, but I'm busy all the time. Talking to people about boats is the part I love about my job. That's the most fun part, is to be able to share my love and my passion and what we do with others." I still barefoot, right? I'm in my mid 40s, and I still barefoot every year more than once. I'm not just that guy that gets out one time. I'll go every time someone will take me, or that I can get someone to drive me fast. And was fortunate enough last year to have a Mastercraft with a supercharged engine on my dock that I could barefoot anytime I wanted to. you know
That's
my
amazing.
my family lives the boating lifestyle. I mean, we moved to Lake of the Ozarks to live the lake life. We have a Mastercraft on our dock. We have pedal boards. We use a sea bob when we want to. We are learning flight boarding. We all surf. My wife surfs, my 12-year-old daughter surfs, my two teenage boys surf. And the most fun that we have is when they bring friends and we teach them to surf, and how much fun it is. And we'll spend a couple hours surfing, and then we'll boat to dinner or boat to lunch, and then we'll surf back at a sunset. I mean, there's nothing more beautiful than Lake of
Mhm.
the Ozarks at sunset, surfing with the sun setting in the background. I mean, some of the most amazing pictures and videos we have are of the sunsets of the lake. It's so beautiful, and just being on the water is so much fun for all of us.
Yeah.
And I think that part of not just my success, but whether it's been back in Wisconsin or here at Lake of the Ozarks, is that I think the love that I have for the water and for the sport shows through. And look, it's addictive. I mean, everybody else then wants to go boating and learn things. And we teach some of our employees how to surf, and then they teach their families how to surf, and then they're teaching their friends how to surf. And it's this lifestyle fun that boating
Mhm.
isn't like selling anything else. You're not just selling a product. You're selling a lifestyle and a family fun that nothing else compares to. Because kids can play baseball, and my kids did, and kids can play soccer, and my kids do, and that's fine to go watch. But boating is the thing that everyone does together, and watching families do it, whether the whole family is in a boat that goes 100 miles an hour and does poker runs every weekend, or they get up every morning at 7 a.m. and go 11 miles an hour and surf, right? I mean, we have both here at the lake. It's the most unique place I've ever been.
That's
Before I
interesting.
moved before I moved to Lake of the Ozarks, I think the fastest I've ever been on a boat was probably 55 miles an hour. And now I'm comfortable driving 100, 120 in some of these outboard cats we have. So it's so funny that in the same day you can wake up at 7, go 11 miles an hour, and then midday go 100 in a set in an outboard cat, and then take your whole family 55 or 60 miles an hour down the main channel in a massive fountain center console. So it's so fun, and there's so many ways to enjoy the water, and and that I think is what the ultimate basis is for not just my success, but for the companies that I've been around, is that I bring that to everyone, right? If you just want to,
Mm,
if you're going to sell boats because you think it's fun and cool, if you're not a boater, it's not as fun and cool. I mean, you're working weekends, you're working nights, you're making phone calls, and when a lot of other people are on the
yeah.
water, you're not. But look,
Mm,
my son worked in our Wake Effects Pro Shop for the last few years. I love having a culture and having a place where my family can work alongside of me. This year, my younger son is going to work on one of our gas docks, and having that,
that's
everybody
great.
loves boating, and we have multiple employees kids that work in our gas docks and our pro shop, and everything they can possibly do and be a part of our company, and everyone just, we all love the water. I mean, that's why we do this. I think boating, different than a lot of other sports, or a lot of other sales jobs, or a lot of other companies, everyone drives a car, and that's great, but people aren't passionate about most of the cars they drive. They might have
Mm,
something cool that they're passionate about, but overall, it's a function. It's a SUV to drive the family wherever they're going. Hopefully, they're driving it to the lake, and that. But we sell passion and fun, and I think it comes through. And I think that
yeah.
whether I'm helping one of our managers with how to handle an employee situation, or I've been fortunate enough to be a part of a couple really good 20 group dealer peer groups, um, uh, learning and helping those, and getting phone calls from those other dealers, and helping them through something, and then it's getting the call afterwards. I helped a dealer recently through an event, and we run some really cool events here at the lake from our dealership, and called me up and he says, "Hey, I want to do an event, and yours are different. You always have such good success, and we were just kind of running an open house." And I explained to him I'm turning it into a VIP event and make it more special for people. And he called me afterwards and thanked me for having such a great event, better than they've ever had. So I'm happy to help other people, and I love that more than anything else, is watching a manager work through a situation, or watching them grow and thrive, and watching them move up to the next level, or helping other dealers that I know, and helping them through a situation, or how to be better at something. I love being part of those groups, because it's so rewarding to see dealers that we visit and we give our advice to, and then they take it, and then they, you can watch their financials change. And even through
Mm,
our own dealership, early on in our dealership, I'm like, as much as I love the fun in the water, my brain really thinks like a numbers person. So I see financials, and I see numbers, and I see percentages and penetration rates, and I can dig into something. I can see something that doesn't look right, find the root cause of it, and then work all the way through it and change a process, and watch the number change into where it should be, and then move on to the next. And so it's been rewarding over the years to be able to do that. When we were early on, we'd look at something, we'd say, okay, this isn't right. And we'd go after it and figure out what really, really was causing that to not be right, and make a change and make process. Sometimes it was a person change, sometimes it was a process change. Sometimes it was they needed something was taking too long, and they needed a piece of equipment that they just didn't even ask for. It's like, well, geez, so you're telling me that your job would be 20% faster if I spent $1,000 on a tool? Yes, all day we'll do that. Don't even have to ask, just buy it. Um,
mm,
and really diving into it, there was one point where we had acquired Wake Effects, and we had done both showrooms, and we had a couple marinas, and all of our percentages were just a little out of whack for profitability and just our expenses. And basically, we looked at it and said, well, look, we're just set up for the future. And so we grew into our numbers, and now we've been successfully successful and profitable, and it's been a great business. And um, continue to
It's
do the
amazing.
same things. We continue to look at root cause issues and move on, fix them, and move on to the next one.
And that's so cool. I love it. That's why I created this podcast, because there's so much impact on the boating side of being fun and having your family, and the afternoons, the sunsets in the boat, and just enjoying the boating life. But then there's the business side and making an impact with a company and a team and all the organization partners, everything that you're talking about, the numbers, the technical part. So it's so cool, like how there's such a huge impact between those two, kind of same world, but two components of the same world.
Oh yeah, look, and I can sit here and say it's all been great, but it's been tough and it's hard, and we've stumbled and we've run on we basically ran over ourselves. So we did a couple acquisitions in 2016, and from 2016 to 2017 we doubled our business. Well, we sales
Mm,
ran over service, right? Service couldn't keep up. We were upsetting customers. We weren't getting boats out in time. I mean, look, we were kind of a
mm,
mess. And so
interesting.
after 2017, we changed our processes, we went through things, and we fixed what we thought was going to fix what problems we had in 2017. Well, from 2017 to 2018, we doubled our business again. No idea we could grow that fast. Guess what?
Mm,
We ran over ourselves again. So the processes that we fixed at the end of 2017 didn't work for a doubling of the business in 2018. And so we had to look again. And at that point, we sat and said, okay, where are we going to be in 5 years? And instead of trying to fix last year's problems, we took a big step back and we looked at how big we actually thought we might get. And I mean, honestly, look, I'm honored and humbled to not have to have the team we have, and to not have the to be able to work as hard as we can and grow as much as we can. I never thought we'd grow as fast as we did, and it just shows to our team. But look, it's been hard. I mean, it's changing processes regularly. It's looking at who
mm,
you were, and taking a big step and saying, you know what, we're not good enough. And there's brands,
mm.
we didn't start with Chris Craft, we earned it. And Chris Craft spent the time to go around the lake to talk to a lot of other dealers, and they picked us over dealers that have been around for 30 and 40 years, who are more established than we were. And we're honored to be able to be a dealer for such a wonderful, amazing brand that
Yeah.
has such a high standard. And look, we earned it. We weren't ready for that brand in 2017 or 2018. I mean, it took us till really 2020 to really be sort of ready to get it. And even now, we as we grow into $1 million plus prestige boats, and some of these, we're importing European brands, and those boats are a million, million five, and even over $2 million. That customer is different than how we started, which was by selling entry level tri-tunes at 60,000 or 50,000. Back then it was 40,000, right? We used to sell $40,000 tri-tunes, and the most expensive boats we sold were barely over 100,000. Now they're getting up over 2 million. The expectation level of the client is so much different from a $2
Mm,
million person who flies in on their private jet and gets picked up, by a car service just to shop for a boat,
yeah.
versus a guy who's payment shopping, and is a local that lives here all the time. So we've changed, we've had to pivot, and
That's
we just
amazing.
believe we do it earlier and faster than everyone else. The good news about us being still pretty, at 8 years is really still a young dealership. We are a The good news is we don't have well, we've always done it that way, right? We don't have a way we've always done it, because we've
Mm,
always had to be changing for our growth. And so we don't have old ways of
that's
old
great.
people that won't change. We've always been changing, and we'll continuously change. We're continuously looking at what we do, and really that's what it takes, whether you're a small dealer like we were in the 2016, 17, and 18, to the huge dealership we are today. It takes It's the same process. You have to look at what's working and keep growing it, and you look at what's not working and you have to fix it. And
Mm,
you have to be willing to sit back and say, we screwed up, or this isn't right. And I think the problem in the boat business today is that there's so many people that have been doing it for so long that they
mm,
can't look outside of what they've always done. Go to the boat show we were at the last weekend. The dealers' booths look exactly the same as they have for the last 20 years. They don't innovate, they don't change, they run radio ads, and they do the same things over and over, and they wonder why they get the same results. And
Mm.
we've now outgrown every other dealer at Lake of the Ozarks. We sell more boats than everyone. I believe we're pretty close to the size of the MarineMax store that's here. Look, and they're a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company. And quite
Yeah.
frankly, I think we do a better job with the customer experience. I think we have more in tune and better trained salespeople, and I think our processes are better than for probably 90% of what they do. And they have, you know, thousands of people on their team. So I'm just really proud of being able to put together the right team and work with them and continuously grow. It's been so much fun, and it's so much fun to grow and help. Looking even in my 20 group, helping dealers that were at 5 and 8 million get to 25 million and see the change in their lifestyle and the change in their dealership, and for us to be able to go, doubling our double and raising up 30% every year and grow in revenue and just keep growing the way we have. It's incredible. I mean, it's I never thought we'd be this big this fast. And so it's just a testament to the entire team. And it's not one person, it's the team you can put together around you. And look, you gotta put the team in place and give them the power to do the right things and help them when they need it and answer the phone for them when they call you and always move forward.
Mm. So many stories, man. It's
Yeah.
so cool. We could be talking here, like I could be listening to your more stories like for an hour, but I really want to respect your time. So let's talk about, I think we have like maybe like 10 minutes left.
Sure.
um so I want to talk about what do you see in the boating industry are the biggest challenges and opportunities that we have coming up.
Well, right now, the biggest challenge for dealers, including for us, is that we couldn't get inventory for years during COVID time. And now we all have plenty. We'll just use
Mm.
that word. Whether it's too much or just right, we all have plenty of inventory. And trying to figure out what the next buyers look like is going to be the people who figure it out best and who can win that market are going to be those who thrive through the next couple of years, which are going to be slower than the record everybody saw during COVID.
Mm.
And if you didn't plan correctly for cash flow and for floor plan lines and for things that you're going to need now, there's going to be dealers that go out of business. I mean, there's going to be dealers that um, really don't want to go through it anymore. I see the next few months, especially. I think there's going to be a number of dealerships that are just done. I think there's enough
Mm.
there's enough dealer owners that are ready to retire, and the next generation maybe doesn't want anything to do with the boat business, so there's no succession plan, or there's a just they're just not ready yet because they're just still too young. And I think you're going to see a lot of acquisitions, and we're seeing it with people that I know personally and people who are looking at it. And you're going to see dealers, whether they close or they or get acquired. I think you're going to see a big part of that coming up in the next, I think, 6 to 9 months through the rest of this year. You're going to see a big number of those. I think the other
Mm.
big thing that's going to go on in the industry is that we need to figure out how to keep all the people that got into boating during COVID because they couldn't play baseball or couldn't play sports. We've got
Mhm.
to figure out how to keep them engaged and keep them in the business, right? Or in the boating.
Mhm.
We've got to figure out how to take all these people who bought a boat because it was the only thing their family could do and get them into the right product, make sure they still love it, make sure that they're still going to stay with it and they don't go back to whatever they were doing before. And I think that's going to be the hardest thing is continuing to grow it. We brought so many people into boating. There were so many first time boat buyers. And a lot of them were, it was people sort of my age that have, younger and teenage kids that boated as kids and they were completely out of it, right? The family sold the boat, maybe when they were in college. Not unlike my family. We had a cabin growing up. When my sister and I were out of the house, they sold the cabin, sold the boat, and other than me going boating with my friends, my family, we all grew up and we all kind of went our ways. And not that we're not still a close family, but we didn't boat together anymore.
Mhm.
Now that I have my own family, I remember how much fun we had when I was a kid. And I think a lot of people during COVID thought the same thing. You know what? The most fun I had as a family when I was
Mm.
growing up was boating. And so you have a husband or a wife. A lot of them, surprised at how many people were coming in saying, I boated as a kid. My spouse has never been on a boat before, but we're buying a boat. We're doing it because this is what we're going to do. This is all we can do. We can't play sports. We can't go out. We can't do things, but we're going to go boating. And keeping those people engaged is going to be the biggest and hardest thing for the boating industry overall. Because as boats age and they might have problems and their kids get busier and they see this big expense, I think you're going to have a hard time keeping all of them. And then you're going to have used boats on the market that people are going to damage the values of, and going to get lower values of people getting out of them. And I think that's going to be the hard part going forward. Look, right now, what's going on with, I know a lot of manufacturers aren't hardly building any boats, but it's also that weird time of year where everybody's got plenty of boats, and in the upper Midwest and in the Northeast, there's still snow on the ground, lakes are frozen. Even at Lake of the Ozarks, we have so many boats that are sold and waiting to be delivered because the water's not warm enough and people aren't at the lake yet. So everyone's just sort of waiting for some of this
Yeah.
inventory to ease up. And once it does, look, factories will start rolling again, dealers will start buying boats again, consumers will still buying boats again. Right now is probably the best pricing we've offered on boats since, I don't know, 2019, 2018. We've now's a great time to buy a boat if you were able to hold out. Um, I think I think getting people in earlier is going to be
Mm.
what needs to grow the sport. You can't keep selling the same customers boats over and over. I think you've got to try to figure out a way to get, again, people, younger families and younger couples and even single people in getting boats and figuring out how to do it with their friends. And I think that's what's going to be needed as an industry overall. Um, from a
Mm.
from a dealer standpoint, I think the days of a small dealer that's done the same thing the same way to 20 or 30 years, I think they're going to go by the wayside. I think customers have a higher expectation level. Everything is faster, everything is nicer.
Yeah.
Boating is unfortunately so expensive now that the clients you're getting in have just higher demands.
Yeah.
And again, I said earlier that they're used to going to a high-end car dealership and getting treated really, really well and having really nice amenities and fast service and service loaners and picking up boats or picking up cars at their garages or picking up cars, from their office and servicing it and taking it back. I mean, not unlike what we do with the boats, right? Someone will call us on a Monday and need service on their boat. We'll get it on Tuesday, work on it on Wednesday and Thursday, take it back on Friday. They show up on Friday and the boat's back at their dock fixed. And I think that's what it's going to take to keep people in boating going forward, because time's valuable and they have less and less of it with their family, especially. And I'm I'm still excited. I think that the boating industry has a great future, but I think there's going to be a lot of consolidation as well, because a lot of the small dealers that really only buy a couple boats and aren't amazing at service, there's just not going to be a place for them going forward. And you're going to see more larger dealers and dealership groups come up. Look, there's a couple publicly traded companies, obviously, but even outside of that, there's a handful of other dealerships that have multiple locations and are even bigger than us, that can service larger areas, can have mobile technicians, and can take better care of people from even a distance than sometimes the local dealer can. So
Hmm.
I'm still super optimistic about the boat business overall, but I think, like I said, the next probably 9 months are going to be challenging for most in the industry.
Mm. It's really interesting. You talked about two, from my perspective, two parts. There's the keeping the people in boating, which you already are addressing, right, with the service and making sure that they're not getting, pissed off because the boat is not working and then they want to stop boating. So that's taken care of. And
Well,
then,
even on top of that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
no
the
worries.
other part of that comes in is that they want to feel like they belong. I mean, boating is a
Mm.
social thing, right? So
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
we have events all summer, and there's other
Hmm.
dealerships that run great customer events at resorts, or they run, in Florida, they do customer rides to Bahamas or to Key West.
Mm.
For
That's
Lake of the
amazing.
Ozarks, we have customer events. We do poker runs, we
The
have surf
community, right?
days. Yeah, everyone wants to be a part of it. So the more you can get people to feel a part of you and be a part of who you are, right? We don't just think we're selling someone a boat. We're bringing them into the Big Thunder family. And that family is growing all the time. And their neighbors come in and they bring their neighbors with, their lake neighbors come into one of our events and they love what we're doing. And look, we're not
Mhm.
unique in that. Again, it's just that we think we do it maybe more often or better than others do. But for customers to stay boating, you have to do more than just service them. You have to make them feel like they're part of who you are in the lake culture or the coastal culture or the fishing culture or the poker run culture or the surf culture, whatever it is, they need to
Mhm.
feel like they belong. And once they
So cool.
belong, they're never going to leave, right? You're not going to leave your
Hmm.
friends, right? These are
Yeah.
your friends. These are your people. These are my people, right? Go to a poker run. It's the most friendly group of people I've ever seen. And it's also some of the most competitive, wealthiest, highest net worth people that will race 100 miles an hour. Yet if someone's broken down or breaks a propeller or hits something, everyone pulls over and helps them, right? I mean, boating is such a friendly sport and people are just there to help them. And I think that's how you keep people involved.
Mm.
You have to keep them involved with your dealership and keep them coming to you even when they're not selling boats. We don't just have boat shows. We just have customer events. Hey, come by, try this out. Hey, come to our showroom, have some food, check the new stuff out. It's a new launch of this product. We don't care if you buy it or not. Just come look at it. We're
That's so
hosting a
cool.
charity event, one of our showrooms. We're happy to host that and happy to work with a charity and they came to us and look, we're flattered, right? So what are we doing? They're bringing their people that will donate to their
Yeah.
charity and we're harnessing some really high net worth clients to come into an event to say, "Hey, look, come into our event. We're not going to sell you anything. We just want you to donate money to this charity that we believe in." and
Hmm.
and those are the kinds of things that people want. And I think going
Community.
forward, those who can do community are going to win more than anything else. So that's
Yeah.
the part about
So
the customer side that I think is really going to be important moving forward.
that's so cool. That's gold right there. Like there's different communities in boating, so catering to each community, and then you're bringing new people also that friends of people in the community that then start to like boating, and then they maybe buy a boat, and then that starts to address the other component that I was going to talk about, which is bringing people into the industry, people that have never had a boat or they had one a long time ago. How is that thought process? How do you think or have seen people that want to buy a boat in their research process and in that process of getting to having the actual boat and turn into the boating lifestyle?
Well, I mean, look, everyone. So we have a lot of events that we invite the public to, right? So people that aren't our customers can come try surfing. We have, Surfs Up Sundays, right, where we'll just take people out on the boat and maybe they've been around, maybe the kids want to try surfing because their neighbor does it or their buddy does
Mm.
it or something like that. So we'll teach them the sport. Regularly, when we do poker runs, we'll take people that don't own a boat, but we'll put them on boats with people that we think match up to their personalities well, and then hopefully they once you're around boats, it's addictive because again, it's this
Yeah.
community. So if you can get them in from a dealership standpoint, we take the time to spend and learn and interview. We don't just show you a product, we show you what we think is going to work best for your family. And we've had people come in thinking they wanted some boat because their neighbor bought it. And when you talk to them about how they boat and how often they boat and what they really want to do, we move them into a completely different direction and they're happier because of it. Because look, their
Mm.
neighbor's lifestyle, while it was cool that they went on their neighbor's boat, that's not really how they're going to boat. It's fun to go with someone on a poker run for a day that you cruise at 70 miles an hour. Maybe you hit 100 miles an hour at one point in the day. But if the rest of your family's afraid of speed, don't buy a fast boat, right?
Yeah.
Let's get the right boat for your family. What do your kids do, or what does your spouse do, or what do your parents do, right? We have people that have elderly parents that are in wheelchairs that we can put them on a tri-tune and that they fit and they work, right? Don't lift them over a center console. Let's put them in a tri-tune that works. And
Mm.
so it's really getting people in the right boat for them, not just the one you want to sell. And that's, I think, what's important. We'll not sell someone a boat because it's not the right one for them. We'd rather sell them the right one for them. And look, that's why we offer so many brands. The benefit of our dealership is that because we offer so many different types of boats, we believe we can offer that. We believe whatever you want to do, we have it. There's a lot of dealerships that aren't like that, right? They have two types of brands. Maybe they have a ski boat and a pontoon boat, and that's all they have. Well, maybe that's not the right boat for your family, but that's what they'll try
Mm.
to sell you, and they'll convince you that that's the right one. We just don't believe in that. And I think that's the difference. If people get the wrong boat and they don't enjoy it, then they get out. They get out of the industry because
Yeah.
boating's, look, boating's expensive, takes a lot of time. You have this big piece of machinery that if you don't use it often and you don't love it when you use it, you're just not going to use it.
Mm.
So it's really important up front to take the time and look, whether it's us or any other dealer that you're shopping at, to spend the time to learn and listen to. We try to think of ourselves as what we call trusted advisors. And if you don't trust the person and you think they're just some cheesy boat salesperson, don't buy from them. Look, if it's one of our
Hmm.
people, we weed them out. I mean, we don't do that. And
Yeah.
others in the industry aren't afraid to just put you in something because it's what's on sale that day, or they might get an extra commission off of it. Our guys just won't do that. That's just not the way we will do business. And that's just the culture. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
overall, it's kind of doing the right thing. Why do
Hmm.
we do the right thing? Because we're all boaters and we all love it and we all want to see
Yeah.
everybody having as much fun on the water as we all do.
Yeah. It's the only way that works. Um, I do see, like, I just want to get your thought on this. My hypothesis is there's the part where the salesperson is helping you, making sure that you're getting the boat that you need for your needs and your family preferences and all your circumstances. And then there's also like a parallel process that's going on the buyer's mind and phone or laptop, where they are researching different types of boats, or the boat that the salesperson recommended me, let me just go by myself and research it. Let me see some videos on YouTube. What are your thoughts on that? Like, how does that um, work? Like those two processes, where maybe like the consumer then says, hey, or it just disappears, the consumer, and it's because they were researching probably and they saw something different. So how do you reconcile those two realities?
Well, today, of course, more than ever, right? People are shopping online long before they come to a dealership. They've looked, they've built boats, right? They've got their 13-year-old kid has built 14 different versions of a boat from the manufacturer online, right? We love it. We see leads come in and the sales guy will reach out. They're like, "Yeah, it was the 13-year-old." I'm like, "Well, ask them if their parents have seen the build yet," right? I mean, it's amazing how this works, but it really, I think it still takes the time. I mean, people see things on the internet, and just because someone said something doesn't mean it's right for them. And then it's hard. It's hard for us. I'm not going to say that it's what we do is easy, but that's where you have to be trusted. You have to be able to say, yes, that boat does that, and we have one similar. Here it is. And look, if you
Mm.
want to try it, we'll take a demo on it. We want you to try before you buy. So spending more time going through, when we go to boat shows, we don't necessarily tell people we want them to buy at the show, and if they do, we still won't have them close on it until they've done a demo on it. We want them to fall in love with it. And if they don't, and they just see something online, they saw a YouTube video of hull over inlet, and it made them scared to go buy a boat. Well, that's not reality for most people, right? I mean, most, even Lake of the Ozarks is really busy and there's a really rough lake, but only for a day and a half out of the week.
Yeah.
We enjoy going out the other 5.5 days. Um, I think that the more people can put out on the internet or on YouTube, from a dealer standpoint, from a manufacturer standpoint, from people like you, other podcasts, other people who do interviews and boat tests. I think what's a little bit missing in the industry is sort of a cohesive message, right? People they try
Mm.
to do things, but I think the industry overall needs to help that a little bit more, because what works for one won't work for someone else. And I think the more you put out there, the more there is to see, which isn't always a good thing. Standardizing a message helps, and I think that the more people see the more people see the same message, they'll start to believe it, right?
Yeah.
And the more people that are discredited, that aren't being honest and truthful in the industry, I think over the next couple of few years, you're going to see a lot of those people weeded out, because I think that's not going to last much longer. I think it's going to
Mm.
be high value, high experience dealers that are going to be around, that are really helping people, because there's all kinds of stories out there. People come to us and want to trade in a boat that look, especially bought during COVID. They bought the boat that was available because there was only one, and it was absolutely the wrong boat for their family. Well, now they know what their family really wants to do, and unfortunately, they didn't take the time up front 2, 3, 4 years ago, and they're doing it now, and it's costing them. And sometimes it's costing them enough; they're just going to get out of boating.
Yeah.
So I think the more we can put out honestly and ethically and truthfully and sort of have a cohesive message, I think that's going to help out overall. And again, for anyone shopping for a boat, I think you really have to take the time and figure out and listen to people who boat. Again, we boat, other people boat. I mean, look, a lot of people in the industry boat. We're not unique in that. There's most people that sell boats or that are in the boating industry do it because we all love this. But you know, figure out who you're talking to. Are you talking to, if you want to buy a surf boat, are you talking to someone who surfs? Are you talking to someone who's been behind multiple boats, who can actually talk you through what's going on, and they say, "Oh, you're looking at our competitor? I've surfed that boat. This is what I liked and what I didn't like about it. And this is why I think our boat might be better." And so I think that the more you spend the time to really, really get to know the buyer from a salesperson standpoint, and the more the salesperson listens to the buyer, then talks to the buyer, the better off they're going to be overall, because the buyer's going to feel, look, the buyer will walk themselves into a sale. They'll talk through
Mm.
enough, and if you answer enough of their questions, there's nothing left. You've solved all their problems. You've shown them the boat that does what they need, and there's no reason for them to say no anymore. And if there is a no, you just pivot and you find the right one, and then you become trusted more so than a YouTube video or something
Yeah.
that they're experience their friend had. Oh, I had a boat, oh, that thing blew up on me, the engine went out and it cost me $4,000. Oh, you bought a 30-year-old used boat and you didn't do oil changes on it for 3 years? Yeah, I probably did, right? I mean, everyone's
Yeah.
story is unique, and so the more you can find out yourself, and just keep, from a salesperson standpoint, especially now, you have to stay with customers more than ever. It's hard, right? I mean, there's
Mm.
there's a there's a there's an attention span that's now being during COVID. More people were into boating and they decided they were buying a boat. Now they're deciding whether they want to buy something else or spend time going on a trip. And, well, we don't need to buy a boat this year, we're going to go to Europe. I mean, that didn't happen for a few years, right? So
Yeah.
it's important to spend the time and to really get to know the customer. And I think through that process, the customer will feel more comfortable with the overall process of buying a boat, making it easier. Look, I think there was a study that was done a few years ago. People would rather almost go to the dentist than buy a car. That's terrible, right? I mean, we don't ever want that to be that way in the boat business. We want you to love it the whole way, the whole experience. Feel like you're part
Mhm.
of our family. Feel like you're part of what's going on, and that we're just guiding you. Like I said, we're your trusted advisor. We're just going to guide you into the right boat for your family. And then at the end, we'll come up with a fair price that we both agree on, and you'll live your life happily as a boater.
I love it. Well, Jeremy, there's so much that I learned. I'm sure there's way more to learn from your stories, your experience, Big Thunder Marine, what you're doing. Really, really cool. I'm really thankful for your time. Um, our mission at the Boating Business Success is to make a positive impact on the boating industry, and that's something that you're definitely doing. And for any of our listeners that are in the boating industry and want to learn more success stories, strategies, this is the place to go. Thank you, Jeremy, so much for all the great information and stories. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Jose, thanks for having me on.